Carl Benjamin, known to his audience as Sargon of Akkad, awoke feeling groggy. Something felt off, but he couldn't quite place it. Rubbing his eyes, he shuffled out of bed, making his way to the kitchen for his morning tea. But as he opened the cupboard, he froze. Instead of his usual English breakfast tea, there were only neatly stacked tins of vibrant green matcha powder.
"What the bloody hell?" he muttered. He reached for the cutlery drawer, only to have an avalanche of chopsticks spill out onto the floor. "What kind of prank is this?" he grumbled, rubbing his temple. Still half asleep, he opened the front door and stepped outside, only to immediately recoil. The Britain he had known was gone. His quiet street now looked like a scene from a Kurosawa film. Samurai in lacquered armor patrolled the sidewalks, their hands resting on the hilts of their katanas. Ninjas darted across rooftops, vanishing into the morning mist. He turned to his neighbor's house and saw a meticulously maintained Japanese rock garden where their lawn used to be. As he turned his head further, his brain short-circuited at the sight of Bigfoot, casually tending to a bonsai tree in the front garden of the house next door. The massive, hairy figure hummed contentedly, while delicately pruning the tiny branches with comically small shears. He slammed the door shut. "All right, what is going on?" Determined to get to the bottom of this, he threw on a jacket and headed to work. But as he entered the office of the Lotus Eaters podcast, he stopped dead in his tracks. His usual co-hosts were nowhere to be seen. Instead, the entire staff had been replaced by impeccably dressed Japanese intellectuals sipping from tiny porcelain cups. "Ah, Benjamin-san," one of them greeted him, bowing politely. "You are late. We have much to discuss about the decline of honor in Western civilization." Carl blinked. His brain struggled to process the surreal sight. Even the branding had changed. The usual Lotus Eaters insignia was gone, replaced by a delicate emblem of a blooming rose. A neatly written sign above the door read, "Barawataberu Monotachi, the Rose Eaters." Carl took a step back, fishing out his phone. He opened Twitter, hoping for some semblance of normalcy, but his feed was entirely in Japanese. His notifications were filled with phrases he couldn't read. Hashtags in kanji and hiragana. Even his own account had been changed, now displaying the name Karu Benjamin. He slumped into a chair. "I'm in some sort of Twilight Zone episode!" A door slid open behind him, the gentle rustling of fabric making him turn. A woman in an elegant kimono stepped forward, carrying a tray of matcha tea. "Would you care for a drink, Benjamin-san?" she asked with a serene smile. Carl took a deep breath. If this was a dream, it was a damn detailed one. If it wasn't, well, he had a hell of a lot of questions to ask.